The plot revolves around the boy Miguel, who lives with his family, which is famous for working in making shoes. But Miguel loved music. He wanted to become a singer, but the family categorically refused this, namely his grandmother Juanita. Miguel asked his family about the reason, but no one gave him a convincing answer, and his grandmother's mother lived with them and her name was Coco. But Coco was very old, and Miguel heard from someone who was cleaning his shoes about the famous singer Ernesto de la Cruz, who was the most famous singer in the village, so they erected a statue for him in the village, and the customer gave a guitar to the boy Miguel. And on the Day of the Dead, Miguel found himself going to play the guitar despite the refusal of his family, but Juanita grabbed the guitar from him with force. Miguel was sad and stood in front of the photos of his late grandparents, and he was sad, but his dog Dante suddenly jumped over the boy and lost his balance, and fell on the photos. An old photo of his grandmother Coco signed with her mother and father, but the photo of the father was cut out, and he was holding the famous La Crozo guitar in his hand. Miguel realized that La Crozo was his grandfather, and he was very happy, but suddenly found himself moved to the world of the dead. So he decided to look for his grandfather to get his consent to become a singer like him. Miguel met his grandmother, Coco's mother, and told her about his intention, but she also refused, and asked him to quickly return to the land of the living, and he met a man named Hector, who offered to help him get to La Crozo, and in return he had to take his photo and put it in the world of the living so that people would remember him, because if the last person he mentions dies he will also disappear from the land of the dead. Miguel agreed and went with Hector, but his grandmother kept chasing him until she brought him back, and his grandmother hated Hector too. But when Hector and Miguel arrived in La Crozo, all the facts were revealed. Hector is Miguel's real grandfather, the owner of the guitar, and he is the real La Crozo songwriter. And when he tried to leave La Crozo and return to his wife and his little daughter Coco, La Crozo killed him, and his wife thought that he ran away and left her and her daughter for the sake of music. When Grandma found out the truth, she tried to bring Miguel back quickly so that Coco reminded her daughter of her father, but La Crozo tried to stop them and snatched Hector's picture from them. After many attempts, the grandmother was able to return Miguel to the land of the living, but the time was almost running out and Coco was about to forget her father. When Miguel arrived at his house, he rushed to his grandmother Coco and played her a song that her father used to sing to her. She remembered him and took out his picture, which her mother had told. And then after that, grandmother Juanita puts a photo of her mother Coco with the dead because she also died, and went to her parents, and Miguel sits with his little sister to introduce them to the departed grandparents so that they do not go to the land of oblivion.